Hi there. So lately I've been paying attention to some of the stories and things that I've been hearing that's going on in the world, and just kind of been jotting them down here and there. And I thought I would, in case you're not aware, I would read off some of the things that I found are going on that you may or may not be aware of. As you can see, the title of this video is The Indoctrination of the Children. That indeed is going on. I'm just going to read some things to you so you can be very aware that there is indeed an agenda going on. There are laws in Oregon, California, Colorado, New Jersey, and Illinois, perhaps now even more states, who knows, that now require schools to teach an LGBT curriculum. A Texas school district is to teach third graders about sodomy. There are drag queens in libraries reading to kids, sometimes dancing and performing. New York school rejects Christian club while allowing gay pride club. School blocks parents from viewing gay porn shown to kids in LGBT sex education class. A Lutheran church is now hosting a drag story hour. 10-year-old suspended for asking to be exempt from LGBT school lessons. They are now making transgender Barbies. Sprite now has a commercial talking about and pushing transgenderism, and not so much Sprite. There's a drag queen story hour in Whole Foods store now. Police arrest pastor for preaching against drag queen story hour. Promoting condoms to 7-year-olds. School kids suspended for not wearing the LGBT pride pin. And 6-year-olds forced to write gay love letters. Now this is particularly disturbing for me because you may not be aware if you haven't seen my other videos, but I actually have come out of the gay lifestyle. But back when I was in it, I never heard of any of these things going on, so I'm like, I'm reading the list and I'm shocked, and hopefully you're as appalled about it as I am, because everything that seems to be pushed towards kids these days is against biblical principles, and there's an obvious agenda. And if you know anything about the Word of God, you know who is behind all the things that stand against the Word of God and biblical principles, including the definition of marriage. And it's a sad thing when I read that list, and I can't just be quiet. Let's be reminded that Ephesians 5:11 says, "Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them." I just can't be quiet about these things. All of these rules and laws are being pushed, and they're made up by these legislators and rule makers who think they're in their high and haughty position and seat to be able to force this upon parents and children, but yet the whole world seems to be pushing away the laws and rules of the Creator, of the one who put them in place for us, to set healthy and safe boundary lines, to say, hey, this is the definition of marriage, this is how you should walk out and live your life. Look to me and look to my word to know what is truth and what you should be going by. So we as people need to kind of decide. We can't stay in the middle and just be neutral, because that's almost siding with the enemy. When I think of when the King of Kings will be coming back someday, everybody will be forced to kneel to him. But what about us being willing to kneel to him now and his ways? And once you come to an understanding of what he did for us and what Christ did for us, taking our place, and we deserve the punishment, you can't help but want to stand up for his word and his ways, and that includes standing up against the wicked schemes of darkness, which is exactly what's going on against the children. It's Satan wanting to indoctrinate them with his plan and agenda to keep them away from anything and everything that has to do with our Creator's rules and regs and laws. But as soon as we step out of the safe boundary lines of following him and doing things our Creator's ways, we're vulnerable, we're going to be attacked by the enemy, we're just not following the will of our Father Abba, and it must really break his heart to see all these things going on, to see his precious children. They're growing up to think that these things are normal, that when they see drag queens in libraries and they're looking at this person reading from a book, they're being indoctrinated to see that as normal, where all the stuff that this used to not ever happen, and things are rapidly getting worse. But we were told in these end times that indeed will happen. And in a way, it should give us hope, because that means, first of all, the Word of God is true, and second of all, our King of Kings, it's close to the 12 o'clock hour where he's going to be coming back soon, and he's going to be correcting all of this. And people who don't believe that, and you may be watching, you may not believe in that, but his word says, on that great day, every knee will bow. But instead of being forced to do it then, instead of being forced to stand up for his rules and regs then, why not want to do that willfully now, and understand that it's out of love that we want to stand up for his ways, and we want to stand against the wicked ways and schemes of the enemy. And as we look and see what his agenda is accomplishing, it's sad to think that these young boys and girls are being fed lies, and they're growing up thinking that these things are normal. Some of them, they're fighting. I remember a story recently that I posted on my social media about a young gentleman at school. He was the only one who showed up for prayer day, where they were supposed to show up and meet it was prayer day at his school, meet at the pole outside, and he was the only one. And there was a picture of this young man just standing there. And that's how we have to be. We can't pay attention to what is going on with other people around us, our friends, our family, who we work with. If we're the only one, and that makes us stand out, that's what our Creator is seeing. He's looking down and seeing you, saying, I'm not going to take part in this. I'm going to stand against this agenda against the children. At this point, to say nothing is not going to help. And even if he's our only audience, I'm glad that my Father Abba can look at me to know, hey, I want to stand up for the truth. I want to stand up and expose this wicked agenda of the enemy, and I want to show you I stand for your truth. Even if every single person that watches this video thinks I'm completely nuts, I know that I'm in right standing with him. And remember, you're going to be before him someday. Will he be looking at someone who stood up against these kind of wicked things, stood up for the children? If you find out about a drag story hour in your local library coming, are you going to go and bravely state the truth, like, hey, this is not okay? Or are you just going to be like, oh well, when one of your family members invites you to their gay wedding, and you have your kids and they want the whole family to come, are you going to say, hey, I'm not going to stand for this. Or are you going to subject your children to a gay wedding to make them then think, oh, that's okay, that's normal. You know, back in my old gay lifestyle, I used to attend, well, before it was gay marriage, which is still not the proper definition of marriage, they were called holy unions. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of rules and regs that people in the world can come up with. The only thing that matters is who is above all the people that think they're in high seats, right? And that's our Almighty Father. And the one who tried to take his seat, who tried to exalt himself above the true Creator, I mean, yeah, he knows his time is short. And so he's trying to get people from all different angles to follow his plan. And he wants to get people away from anything and everything biblical. This world, unfortunately, has painted our God, our loving Creator, as some awful mean monster in the sky, pushing rules to take our fun away. Unfortunately, that's a lot of people's views of our Creator. But once you get in the Word and you really understand the gift that is freely given to you by grace, and you understand that no love like that could come from anywhere else, you will just naturally want to do things his way. And you will be like, I want to stand for your rules and laws, and not go with the majority of the world that wants to stand for these rules and laws over here. And so I want to end with a reminder from Psalm 94:16, a reminder for all of us. Who rises up for me against the wicked? Who stands up for me against evildoers? In your life, will you, from this day forward, choose to stand more against the wicked schemes of the enemy in your own life and against the world and against this attack on children? Or will you just kind of be like, oh well, it doesn't matter. It should matter to you. And so I hope this served as a reminder to you, in reading all those things going on, that there is indeed an attack and agenda from Satan, the god of this world. And the children are victims, and we need to make a stand. You know, I don't have children myself, but if I did, I know that they wouldn't be in public schools, that's for sure. And if I ever find out that there's some drag queen story hour in my area, you better believe this ex-gay is going to be showing up. But I just thought that I would make this video to help some of you be aware that these things are actually going on, and you can look them up for yourselves. Go ahead and Google every little single line that I read. You can Google, you can find stuff like this and worse. It's quite disturbing, but it's very telling of the times that we're living in. And, you know, our King is drawing ever so close. And that is where our focus should be. That is where our hope lies. And he wants us to keep our focus on him. While all this crazy worldly stuff is going on, he is the one who steadies our boat. And he wants us to stay the course. And he wants us to listen to his voice and follow after his ways only. So I hope that serves as a great reminder to you that you have a loving God, and you know, he seeks for you to follow after his ways and stand for his rules and regs, and to stand for the children, and to not go with the ways of the world while they're pushing Satan's agenda. Okay, hope that this was a good reminder to you all, and have a blessed day.